Hello everyone. Once again I welcome you all to your English 2 class. Now as you know we have completed our first chapter which is the owls in the family, and in today's class we are going to start a new poem which is My Books. Okay. Now to give the necessary introduction that you need to read this poem, that is, it has been written by an anonymous poet. Who is an anonymous poet? That means whose name is not mentioned or whose name we don't know. So it can be he or it can be she, it can be a male poet, it can be a female person also. So that has not been mentioned. Now here you can find a mention of someone whose name is Dr. Seuss. Now who is Dr. Seuss? Dr. Seuss is an American author, you can say, an American writer of children's literature. Now I will show you his picture. So this is Theodore Seuss. His name is Theodore Seuss. So Theodore Seuss is, you can say, he was a film producer. He was a writer. He was a writer of children's literature. Now he has said this in order to quote his line, that what he has said, that for that only his name has been mentioned. The more that you read, the more things will know. The more that you read, when you will read more, when you will, your knowledge will be vast, when you will be acquainted with different kind of characters in the book, when you will come to know about different times. It may be of past, it may be of future. Like when you read a mythological story or a mythological story, that time you come to know about the past things. Now when you read a science fiction, a book of science fiction, that time you can see that as if the narrator or the writer is making a journey towards future, where he is telling us something which is a futuristic project or which will come into reality in future. So this way, when we read, it is as if we also journey, we also make a journey, or we also at the same time we also travel to that particular world which of which we get the description while we read. When suppose you are reading a book and the time that has been described there, as if you are making an imaginary journey to that place or to that time. So this is the magnificent capacity of a book. A book can take you beyond time and space. The more that you read, the more things that you will know. So when you read more, you will know more. So when you will read more, you will know more things. So that has been said here, that the more you read, the more you will know, and the more that you learn, the more places you will go. Now when you will read more, when your acquaintance will be with more places and more places, you can say, and the time to which the writer will be taking you or the narrator will be taking you to which time, that means the description of which period or which time is there in the book which you are reading, you will also make a journey to that particular place or to that particular time. So that is the capacity, or you can say that is the charm, or that is the magnificence that reading can do. That's the magic that reading can do. Now it has been said by whom? It has been said by Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss is who? Who is? His name is Theodore Seuss, or I have shown you his picture. So this person, his name is Dr. Seuss. So he will be means he has said all these things that is there in this first line. But you remember that Dr. Seuss is not the writer of this poem, or he is not the poet of this poem. Okay, now coming to this particular poem, we are going to start this one. The first one is that I love my books. Very good line. All of us, we love whenever we get a book, we just start to read the book, and some of you are fond of seeing the pictures in a book. And when you get a story book particularly, or a book of comics, That time, what you do, you just in one particular sitting only you complete the whole book. So that is what that is what the attractiveness of a book is. That means when a book is kind of a colorful description of past, it can be, of future, it can be, of different kind of places, it can be. So a book can take you to different time period, it can take you to different kind of places. So that is the magnificence, that is the magic of a book. Second line, they are homes. They are the homes of queens and fairies, knights and gnomes. This is not gnomes. This is the G will not be pronounced here. Here we shall be saying it gnomes. Now, who we will be discussing all this. They are the homes of queens and fairies. So when the poet is saying that they are the homes of queens and fairies, that means what? Homes is what? Where we live. We all live in our houses, we all live in our homes. So here book is like a living place for whom? For the queens, for the fairies. Now you know a queen, you know, and fairies, you know, these kind of you can say that you have read the fairy tales and all, no, where the some miraculous, or you can say some miracles, they can bring some miracles, the fairies. So fairy tales. And then it comes about the knights. Knight means those warriors of the ancient days. They are called knights. Soldiers who rode horses and fought battles a long time ago. So it is believed that the knights used to ride on the horses, and they used to fight with the enemies, and they were very much brave and courageous. So knight means warriors, or you can say ancient warriors, or you can say soldiers who were very much brave and courageous. They used to ride on the horses, and they used to fight with the enemies. So this way you can know what is the meaning of knights. And then what are gnomes? What are gnomes? Gnomes are you can say gnomes are the people, or kind of a tiny creature, a very small human being, who is a tiny creature who will be guarding the treasures of the earth. That means they are the guards of the treasures of earth, or you can say in the underground. It is believed, according to some stories of past, it is believed that the kings or the other people, they used to keep their money, they used to keep whatever property, like the wealth, you can say gold and diamond, whatever they got, they used to keep it in an underground store. And in that underground store there were these kind of creatures, you can see these kind of creatures, who are called gnomes. So they are very ugly looking, kind of an old man, and they will be guarding the treasure of the earth underground. And in the underground they will be guarding the treasures of the earth. Treasures means the property, you can say the wealth, you can say the money, or you can say the gold coins, the diamonds. So all those things were stored in a particular house or in a particular room. And who guarded those? The gnomes. They guarded those. So gnomes means the guards, or you can say the guards of the treasures of earth. The treasures of earth were guarded by the gnomes in the underground. Means it is believed that we are living in the middle. The earth is there in the middle. Below us there is hell, Hell. Hell means the underground. And above us there is heaven. So these three places are there. We live in the middle. We live on earth, and above us there is heaven, and below us there is the underground, or you can say there is hell. Each time I read, okay, another thing I have to say here, when we are saying they are the queens and they are the homes of queens and fairies. Now here you need to know these things. You need to know what are the similes and metaphors. Simile and metaphor, these you have to know here. Now what are these? Simile and metaphor, basically these two are the particular kind of comparison. Suppose you whatever things we can compare two things or two persons or maybe a person with a thing. So when a comparison will be drawn, there can be two types of comparison. One can be the direct comparison and another can be the indirect comparison. Now when we will be doing the direct comparison or the direct comparison, that we will say that is simile. Now when there will be an indirect comparison, we shall say that that is metaphor. Now what is that? What is that? How can you know whether there is a simile or there is a metaphor? That you should know, because you will find that direct comparison there will be as, like, all these kind of words will be there. Like when we say that my shirt is as red as a rose, my shirt, or you can say my book's cover is as red as rose. That means the cover of my book is being compared with a rose. The cover of my book is being compared to a rose. Now what is the point of comparison? Redness. Okay, so we will say that when two things are compared, it can be not only two things, one thing and one man also can be, or one human being can be also compared. So when we will say that he is as cunning as a fox, he is as cunning as a fox, that means what? He is cunning and a fox is also cunning, and the point of comparison between them is cunningness. So when you will find that directly two things are being compared, we will call it a simile. We will call it a simile. Similar, from similar the word simile has come. Okay, so there will be a direct comparison or a direct comparison, and you will find that this is the definition of simile which is given in your book. You can find it in page number 28. I hope when you are watching this video, your book is open in front of you. So you go and see in page number 28. It is written, a word or group of words that compare one thing to something else using the words like or as. So when you will find these two words are there, and there is a direct comparison between two things. As I have said, my shirt is as red as a rose, or when we will say my friend is as cunning as a fox. So that time you can see as cunning as whom? As fox. So my friend and fox, these two are being compared, and the point of comparison between them is cunningness. When I say my shirt is as red as a rose, the point of comparison between my shirt and rose is redness. So there you can see in both the sentences as is present. So when there will be as or like, we will say this is simile. So there will be a direct comparison and there will be as and like. Okay. Now indirect comparison, this one, metaphor. Quite similar but different. What is that? Metaphor means indirect comparison. When I will say, see, the same sentence I will make once, I will make it once a simile and once again I will make it a metaphor. When I will say he is as cunning as a fox, when I will say he is as cunning as a fox, that means I am using simile, because directly I am saying that he is cunning and fox is cunning. So both of them are being compared, and the point of comparison between them is cunningness, and there you can find the word as is also there. But when I will say that he is a fox, that time it is becoming metaphor, because here I am not directly mentioning, that he is cunning and fox is cunning. So that point of comparison is hidden, or there is an indirect comparison. When I will say he is a fox, that is metaphor. But when I will say he is as cunning as a fox, that is simile. Like we say, the camel is the sheep of the desert. The camel is the sheep of the desert. That means what? As a sheep carries loads from one part of the sea to another part of the sea, the same way a sheep carries loads from one part of the sea to another part of the sea. So, and one part of one corner of the desert to another corner of the desert. So the point of comparison is hidden here. When there will be a hidden comparison, when there will be an indirect comparison, we will call it metaphor. Now coming to our poem, which is there, where I wanted to tell you, when the poet is saying they are homes of queens and fairies. So this is metaphor. Why this is metaphor? We will say that this is metaphor. Now why this is metaphor? This is metaphor because here homes means the living place. Like as we live in our homes, similarly these characters are queen, or you say are gnomes, or you say are knights. They live where? They live in the pages of a book. They live in the pages of a book where their name is mentioned. So that is why we shall say that this is metaphor, because home is a place where we live, where we all live. Now the book is also like a home. That means we live in home and they live in book. They live in the pages of a book. So similar, or the point of similarity is that we also live in home and they also, means where we live, that we call home, and where they are living, that is in the book. So it is like a home for them. So that is why there is an indirect comparison, and we will say this is metaphor. Now I love my books. They are the homes. They are the homes of queens. I have said queens, you know, the king and the queens. So queens are the wives of king, and fairies. So fairy tales you have read. So there will be an angel, you can say. There will be some miracles, or you can say there will be some magical power, and with the help of it there will happen some magic. So fairies. And then knights, these are the people, or you can say they are the warriors. Knights are the warriors or the soldiers who will be fighting, riding on the horseback. They will be fighting with the enemies. And gnomes are the creatures, or you can say the tiny creatures like these. Gnomes are the tiny creatures like this, who actually it is believed that gnomes, they guard the underground treasures, or you can say they guard the underground wealth which are there. That means the gold coin, the diamond, money, all these things are guarded by gnomes. Remember, G is silent here. We will not say that it is not gnomes. No, we will say it is gnomes. So G will not be pronounced. Okay. Now first stanza is done. Coming to the second stanza. Each time I read, I make a call. It's not making obviously it's not making a phone call or anything. So when he is or she is saying that I make a call, that means what? I awake them. That means as if those characters are hidden, as if those characters are dormant, as if those characters are sleeping characters, or you can say those characters are not moving characters. And when I read those, as if I wake them up, as if I provoke them, or you can say as if I make them move. So then what they do when he is saying I make a call, that means I wake them up or I make them move on some quaint person whom I make them or whom you can say whom I provoke to response, or you can say whom I awake. Now they are like a quaint person. Quaint means a strange person. Quaint means strange. Somebody who is very much kind of a strange character. He is not ordinary like you and me. They are like strange characters. Large or small, they can be large being, they can be small being, that means they can be tall, they can be tiny, who welcomes me with hearty hand. But however they may be tall, they may be short, they may be beautiful, they may be ugly. It doesn't matter. Because of what? Because whenever they welcome me, it is as if they welcome me wholeheartedly. That means they welcome me from the core of their heart, very heartily, with much love and affection. They welcome me and leads me through his wonderland. And when I read those books, when I find that there are some strange characters, when I find there are some new characters, and when I wake them up by reading, when I wake them up, when I come to know about them, that time what they do, they also will welcome me into the wonderland. Wonderland means a land of adventure where there will be things which will surprise you. There will be much things which are much wonderful which will surprise you. So the poet is trying to say that when I read books, it is as if I awake the character, or it is as if I make the character move, and the characters, they also do something to me. What do? They will welcome me from the bottom of their heart, from the core of their heart, or very heartily, wholeheartedly they will welcome me. And where they will welcome me, they will welcome me to their land of adventures. They will welcome me to their land or to their places which is full of adventures and which is full of surprising things. Now, coming to the last stanza. Each book is like a city street. This is again, as I have said, no, you have read metaphor, you have come to know. Now this is simile. Because you know, you have read that where there will be, just now I have discussed, no, where there will be like or as, these words are there, that means it is simile. And there is, you can say there is a direct comparison or a direct comparison. Now when we say there is a direct comparison or direct comparison, what is that? That means it is being directly compared. Here the book or the pages of a book, here each book is like a city street. The pages of a book is being compared with or to a city street or to a street. Why? Because a street will take you to a place, to a particular or to your destination. The same way this street in the form of the book will take you to the wonderland or to the land which is full of surprising things, along whose winding means what? Winding means turn and twist. Okay, if you see a particular road, you will find after you go to such particular distance, there will be a turn or there will be twist. So that particular road we call a winding road, or we can say that there are many turns and twists in that road. So winding means where there is a turn and twist. Along whose winding, when I turn, or along in the lane of it, along in every turn of it, every twist of the road, every turn of the road, I meet whom? I meet new friends, old and old, who laugh and sing. I meet new friends and old friends who laugh and sing and take me off adventuring. Now, new friends and old friends, that means what? When somebody reads a book, when you are reading a book, you find some characters which are new to you. And sometimes you find a character about whom you have read somewhere, or about whom your grandfather or your grandmother or your parents may have told you a story. So that means what? There will be some character which or about whom you are knowing for the very first time. They are the new friends of yours, and about whom you have read somewhere, or you have known some stories about them, or you have listened to some stories about them from your grandparents or from your parents or from any elder person of your family, or you have read about them in a book. So they are the old friend of yours. Understood? This new friend and old new friends are the new characters about whom you are knowing for the very first time by reading a particular book. Old friend is someone about whom you have known something from a book, maybe before the reading a particular book, another book you have read from where you have known some character's name, and in a new book again you are getting those particular names again and again, so you are already acquainted with those names, so that or those characters, so they are like old friends to you, who laugh and sing. They do what? They will laugh and sing with the little boy or with the little girl. The when you read, as you all are little boys and little girls, so when you read a book, it is as if when you are reading about a particular character, you are reading about as you have read in Owls in the Family about the narrator, it is as if you can compare yourself, you can mix your feelings or your emotion with that person's, your emotions and feelings can be matched with that particular person. So here you can say that whatever the poet is saying here, that new friends and old friends, they do what? They will laugh with me and they will sing with me and take me off adventuring, and they will take me to adventurous land. That means along with them, or those characters will take me to adventurous lands, to wonderlands, or to the lands which are full of surprising things. Okay, so this is all about your poem. Now by reading this story we can, or sorry, by reading this poem we can know one thing, that this has been written by someone who is like a boy or like a girl like you, who is a little one, who is not much grown up, much young like you, who is much young like you, and who is not that much grown up, or you can say who is not a grown up person. He or she is a very you can say is a very young child, you can say, or is a very young boy, you can say. So that is all about this one, and that narrator, or sorry, that poet, or you can say the writer of this poem, is very much fond of reading, very much fond of books. He loves books, and he loves to find out different kind of characters. He loves to relate them with one another, and he loves to kind of think about them, kind of living in that kingdom of surprising kingdom, or you can say to live in that kingdom of where wonderful things will take place. So all these things are there in your poem. And also we came to know about simile and metaphor, which are together called figure of speeches. We will all be knowing more figure of speeches gradually when you will be going to upper classes, your higher classes when you will be going. So you will be knowing more and more figure of speeches. You will be coming to know about alliteration, personification. All those things will be there. Gradually we will be doing all these things. But for today's class, you remember simile and metaphor. Simile is a direct comparison or a direct comparison where we can find the words like as and like, and metaphor is an indirect comparison, or is a hidden comparison. Okay, so all these things you go through, all these things you read, and once again you when you are watching the video, you try to write down the meanings which I have said, so that in your, before you come to your live class, all these things should be cleared, and then in your live class you can ask me after having all these things. If you are having any doubt, you can ask me there. So that's all for today. Have a very good day. Thank you.